Hello. So, um, thought I would do a little reading for the water signs. Some very strange messages came through letting me know that I needed to do a water sign reading. First and foremost, by the way, I'm just going to be shuffling this while we're speaking. Okay. First and foremost was the message that it's almost like you're trying to tell the world something, water signs, and I'm not sure who's listening and who's not, but I would love for the message to come across clearly. And feel free to correct me if I'm not perceiving this the right way. There was a lot that you had to say and a lot that you felt about war, just amongst species amongst themselves or amongst each other. Okay. You had a lot to say about that. It was very much enlightening, based off of this can't happen, because if it does, the legacy that we're leaving is therefore only geared towards the dollar. This is the top tier of the dollar. Yeah, it's tiers. Um I was looking at this tea that I've been buying for a while, and I love this tea, by the way. This is really good tea if you ever need a recommendation. However, lotus blossom tea. And if you look closely at the fine print, I actually did stop buying it, and it says California only, Prop 65, and then it has a big old warning, and it says cancer and reproductive harm, and then gives you the website, the .com, to find it at, as long as you use this SKU, which is kind of the same as a QR code. There's something about you, like, this is from it's kind of standard issue tea, and it does. I feel like there's a turning of the corner that has to happen. You see, I loved not only the way that this tea tastes, but the way that it's packaged, except for this part. I love everything else about it. I love how it looks like a lucky ticket until you see that part where it says cancer and reproductive harm. If that's coming from a tea, then it doesn't really feel like that's really that good for me. So, in the honor of trying to see things clearly, I'm going to have to lose love for that. And that's kind of the same thing that you're trying to say, Cancer. I feel literally this is why I'm using this prop for this specific reading, was because there was kind of a watery release. It was an understanding of the way that we have ushered things into our existence thus far has been very much a hustling, bustling industry. Do you see this and that? The way we ship things out, who we're shipping them to, why we're shipping them there. I remember volunteering for a company kind of early on. Cancer, I'm going to get to the read, but I feel like these messages are important for you to get, and I'm not sure why I'm needing to tell you these kind of prerequisite stories for you to understand what I'm talking about, but I guess it's important. When you go to school and you realize that some men's trash is another man's treasure, you will understand also that the relationship you have with yourself needs to be dwindled down. Noticing small details becomes more important as you get older, but it's also not as important at the same time. There's a juxtaposition that's it kind of grates a lot of people's nerves. I'm not going to lie. I think I've heard that reiterated multiple times from not only the elderly, but the youth, that they feel burnt out on having to think in this really pervasive way where everything is acceptable. There's no boundaries. There's no, you drink You drink tea because this is the culture that you came from. And you drink the tea because it's good for you. It's 9:03. Okay? It's a different delivery system than the one we've been accustomed to, which is just to consume things without thinking about it. Go to Burger King, drive through. Go to a Good Times, drive through. Go to a McDonald's, drive through. Grab you something quick and fast and easy to eat. And that's so effective. Except when there's this like thing kind of lurking in the background. I actually don't buy into the fact that this is going to cause cancer. So is sunscreen, and so is the sun itself. There's only so much, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a Kodo hue. Kodo hue. I don't know if you can really see that. It is TRA. I don't know how to pronounce this correctly in Vietnamese, and I apologize. It's Tramansen. Tramansen. So when I'm thinking about romancing, I'm going to try to romance something, right? I don't want to have a mask on. What I want to do is tell the brutal, honest truth and give them kind of the worst part of myself, which is the best part of myself at the same time. That's what you're struggling with right now, Cancer, is this weird duality of existence. Yeah. It's like, you see how you want to be really focused on something, but you don't want to come across creepy or evil or with bad intentions. It's not about that. It's about a cultural difference. It's about the things that one person might see as treasure as another man's trash. What another man may see as treasure as another man's trash. Do you understand that from both perspectives? What I focus on may look like trash to you, and what you focus on may look like trash to me. It goes both ways. This is not about not wanting to build love. This is about realizing that as what goes up must come down. It's the Fabo. Mm, 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 okay? It's everything you threw up into the air. I don't know why I'm here. Okay, anyway, let me just have my moment. Anyway, you've had the time of your life, right? And everything's woo, like up in the air. But then on the other side, when things come down, you're going to be like, oh, there she goes. Oh, look, this flew out. Let's pick it up together, right? Here's, ooh, some stuff is shifting. Here's friendship, but it is in the reverse. Yeah, this is the end of strife. So that's what I'm saying is like, as you grow, as you become a healthier, more cognizant, aware of your surroundings human being, you understand that what is delivered needs to be something that can be maintained. And because of that maintenance that needs to be kept up with or upkept, right? There's also a need to end a lot of strife. There's not going to be friendship with people, places, and things that don't have the same focus as you do. And that's okay. As humans in this society, I think we've been taught that it is not okay to change. It's not okay to step outside of the cookie cutter replication of exactly who we think we are. This is not lucky for the earth for us to think like that. It is not it is not powerful. It doesn't lend any kind of credence, like I've said, to the spiritual health or well-being of anybody involved. I'm just kind of glancing at these as I'm telling you this trajectory. So it's not about not having courage. It's about having the courage to stand up and grow in a different direction. Yeah. Be willing to weather the storm because it's going to come. That's the one thing that's guaranteed. No one guaranteed you a easy, happy life that is carefree and footloose. No one guaranteed that. However, if you're afforded that ability to kind of, I want to say, let your hair down and just let it go, kind of slough off, you can understand that some people, they smoke 2 cigarettes at a time in Europe, some places. They inhale twice as much tar in one go, and they still don't find the space inside of their lungs or cancer being a concern in the first place. Does that make sense? So yes, there's a lot of, it's such a double-edged sword, and you've got to, when you hold a certain amount of power or weight, you got to decide, do you want to tell people about the color of the threat level at the airport? Is that how you want to spend your time at the airport? Or would you prefer to not have to go through security as much or at all because someone can just like scan the warnings about your facial recognition programs that have already been installed into your DNA and then into the basis of who you are and all the storms, the water, and the earth. So once they can see, I guess, weathering on your face, it becomes, I don't know why I just saw red hot chili peppers out of the corner of my eye. This is kind of like a red hot something. And when you stand on business about it, in the food industry with like the FDA and, you know, maybe even makeup industries or fashion industries or all of Hollywood or all of the Dow Jones or really anything at all, right? If you decide that you're going to make a generalization or be pervasive in one overriding rule, that is the one equation to the sum of everything, you've effectively limited yourself. This is the second item I chose. Why cancer? Why did I choose? Because the fifth. Because when we're fishing for health, wealth, beauty, the answer to life, there's it. I mean, people act like it's a limit to that. Do you realize that if human beings have already been born, then they're guaranteed to die? But that's only once they've been born. Right. So is the born moment the moment that your heart beats, that you take a breath, or is it the moment that you actually exit your mother's body? Because you do breathe amniotic fluid in your mother's womb. It's like a decision making process between like water bearing and earth bearing life, which can be bloody ridiculous if we're accustomed to that verbiage. Excuse my French. Otherwise, it's really it's what you make of it. So be as topsy turvy as you want. I know I've seen cups, solo cups that have been flipped for less, and that look pretty much exactly like that from far away, of course. But it doesn't have to be one culture that represents everyone. Everyone's allowed to have their own culture. Front, center, up top. And it's going to be okay if we're all in the same boat. There's the key, the morning star that's coming out directly after the key. So this technically was in reverse when it came out. I did one of these joints, one of those joints, mostly because this is the thing. Like, there's not just one star out there. There's no need to compete. There's plenty of light for everybody. And you are the only one that can find the key that is. It's been cast upon you like a net. It's already happened. Please don't shoot the messenger. This is not the passion of the Christ. Okay? This is the wisdom of the Buddha. We'll stick with that. We'll rock with that. We'll jive with that. And just be jive turkeys. Okay? Because I think that, so this chunk of cards just flew off the deck when I tried to put it down. Bottom of the deck is the burden basket upside down. This is the turkey's call. This was the turkey saying, look, I don't mind y'all getting along with each other. Why do I have to be the victim of the feast? Chris, Columbus, natives, Indians, savages. Seems like a 1-2 hut to march kind of situation where you like have boundaries and I will not grow that direction. Yeah, we could also look at it like this, that without boundaries you can grow and expand beyond any experience you've ever had before. You can look at boundaries like they're going to help you grow and give you the key to that stardom inside of yourself, but you have to be willing to kind of like, it's inward boundaries. It is never outward boundaries. This was in reverse. Okay? It was. Now it gets to evolve. And at any given moment, she could be a samurai with a sword. She could be with a sumo wrestler with the weight of being a Cancer. She could shrug her shoulders and just be like, you know what? I'm calling cap on the whole thing. I don't know. You gotta, anyway, any of those three options, not really a burden down the middle for her. What's really going to be a burden, and this, I think this is what you're trying to say, Cancer, without, you know how say it without saying it? You're tired of getting, you know that moment in Titanic where Molly Brown and Rose must have been jumping or being actually violently thrown off the boat at the same damn time, right? Let's think about the thoughts going through Molly's head versus through Rose's head, because Rose was with Jack, right? And they've got a whole raft. So Rose is like, oh, well, I'm safe now. Jack, why don't you just, I'll never let you go because you're frozen. Off with your head, right? Now I got a whole raft to myself and I don't even have a top. There's no cap, there's no boundary, there's no lid on that. Like if this was commissions, I would be killing it, right? Right. Now, let's look at what happened to Molly Brown, the one and only survivor, right? Because Cancer, that's what you are. This is California only, and it says Cancer and reproductive harm. That's what it says. It also says lotus blossom tea in multiple languages. Also digitized for Morse code people. Molly Brown was going, I'm gonna just guess and say, through hell. Looking for just about anything to calm her nerves, to assimilate or dissociate, one or the other. Something hot, warm from home that's comforting, medicinal, healing, soothing, like a soothsayer that kind of knew what they were talking about, right? That's what Molly Brown was looking for. I feel like you're holding the space between the two. Oh, damn. Damn. Yeah, you're basically just being the boat. I feel like I'm hearing Aaliyah, don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat. Yeah. Oh, that's not even Aaliyah. There's another song. Don't rock the boat, don't rock the boat. Life is too easy. I don't know where that came from. I really don't. I need a Shazam on that one. Let's get these cards out, please. I feel like we need 2 cards, and then we're going to clarify, and then we're going to be done. Spirit of place. There's a real geisha vibe that goes with this card, a serious geisha vibe. And that home feeling is in the number 4. It's in traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, that would be home. Kind of what I'm saying is that you're riding the waves to the best of your ability. And I think sometimes you see how there's 4 leaves here, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where the number 4 is coming from, obviously. But I think sometimes the branches of your tree, it's almost like you're gazing at this one specific geisha-like leaf that seems a little bit harebrained. Look at her hair. Whoa. So I just put the deck down next to me, and what's coming out is the voice of the mountain. This is I'm going straight. This is I don't know where these channelings are coming from, but this is literally the voice of the geisha traveling across. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. I'm seeing that scene from The Stepmom with Julia Roberts. It's like there's no amount of space or time or energy or effort that could be ungrounding to a specific. It is a shining. Okay, yes, it is the shining, but it is also a reverberation. This is the Little Mermaid's voice, and like Ariel singing, and this is Eric's ear hole. Okay, this is human life on Earth, maybe the pyramids or something, and these are the gods, like the Amun Ra responding. Okay, that's the same connection that is being felt here. If I was to guess, I would say this is a 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, give us free. Give us free. That's kind of the same thing. It's the carrying over of lineage that it feels heavy. It feels weighted down. The water is directly underneath this it's the freedom of water. This is like a tsunami. I think at the beginning of this reading, I did say I felt a release of watery energy. It's almost like when your water breaks when you're giving birth or whatever. People don't tell you that doesn't just happen once. It happens the whole time you're giving birth. Your water breaking happens over and over and over again in waves. I think that is the sectarian understanding that water has its own ego. Poseidon is the equivalent of Hades or Satan or the devil. El Diablo in other cultures by a different name, just not in Greek. Tusa, tusa. Opa. This is the energy I'd like to exit with. We're gonna just dive right into it. Can I get one overriding energy that Cancerians should, would, and could already know, depending on where they are in their spiritual journeys amongst sirens, sailor moons, and ebbs and tides. Ebbs and flows, hustles? Yeah, and tides. That's right. Oh, okay. This came out in the reverse. I'm going to say this is what jumped. I'm going to say this is what you threw. I'm going to say this is like, you know how before we were like, throw it up to the gods? This is like, throwing it into the ocean because you're seasick. Okay. Something is almost making you feel seasick. It's like you kind of just need a break. Remember in the beginning of this reading, the evil eye that I had, I just got rid of it. If you didn't notice, I didn't even want to touch that energy anymore. This was why it was felt in the first place from both sides. There's solace coming to you. There is an upgrade of energy that should energize. And I don't know why I'm seeing thrush on somebody's tongue. It's almost as though there's been something literally slicing your tongue every time you try to talk. I'm seeing the medieval torture chamber where someone's on a kind of heritage square type slide, holding on to a sled, right? And then pushed down a hill, kind of like you're going sledding, but it's on the heritage. It's like a roller coaster, right? A miniature roller coaster. You don't want to be sliced anymore. You've done it. You've been there. You've had it. We're back at the 309. This is literally 309. Okay. This is number 39. And I feel like you now have this whole big picture, which is the O, the zero. It's a 0 point. I don't know if you remember the archer coming up a moment ago with focus. You've now got a 0 point of focus where you're trying to go no matter what. You're on your way up and out. It is you've won the war, the battle, the race, everything. That's it. The other side, and I do want to say the other side because I feel like this is kind of like etheric. So please do take what I was just saying about hearing a voice coming from the other side. This is also hearing a voice from the depths, which is why I was talking about Ariel, Sebastian, and the Little Mermaid. This is making it easy for the cleanup woman in the ocean. But when you do it for the skies and the ethereal heavens above, it becomes a completely different type of base nectar. You want to drink of a different type of self than you did before, even though wherever you go, there you will be. I hope that helps, Cancer.